primarily that we are not programmed to really think about death. Death is something which often strikes before us. We witness somebody else's death, and temporarily it does shake us. It jolts us, especially when the person concerning, the person who has died, is a very close acquaintance of ours or a close relative of ours. At that point in time, death really shakes us. It makes us think, it compels us to think what has happened to this person who was right here before me and suddenly has disappeared, nowhere to be found. At that point, everybody thinks about death. But what happens is that we think about death at that moment only temporarily. We soon forget about death and we go back into the activities of our world. So what we have to do is we should remember death often, as the Prophet, peace be upon him, said. We should try to think that this world is not the end. There will come a time when I can die, and the Quran says that death can come to you any moment. It can strike any time. So if we keep this reality alive in our mind, at that point alone we will be able to turn ourselves towards God and the hereafter. If we don't keep refreshing this reality in our mind, somewhere or the other it will die out, it will fade away, and it will not reflect in our thought, in our speech or our behavior. So we know that this is how the human mind functions. If there's something which you attach a lot of importance to, then your mind turns your attention to that repeatedly. So for example, if you have an exam coming up soon, you will be filled with the thought that I have to write an exam and therefore I must prepare myself. So every day you do something to prepare for that exam, because it is a reality which exists in your mind in a very paramount sense. It predominates your mind, it preoccupies you. So death is something which does not preoccupy us, because we know that death may come someday in the future, and therefore we remain ignorant and heedless about it. So what we have to do is we have to train our mind to understand that death will come. There will be a point when everything that we are doing will end. So we should not think of death in the sense that we will face annihilation or we will face destruction. We should think of death in the sense that a time will come when I will move away from this world and go to the next world. The next phase of my life will begin. So we should think, what is it that I'm doing for this next phase of my life? Am I only focused on this present phase of my life, or have I kept something in store for the life to come? And if I am not doing anything for the life to come, then I should start paying attention to that, because neglecting that would be doing something which would cause you eternal kind of loss and eternal kind of grief. So we have to basically refresh this concept in our mind on a daily basis. Refresh this idea in our mind, it will register in our mind, and therefore we will be able to have that reflected in everything that we do.